Hi, live from LA. It's Bryce Bradley, and this is Thunderstruck Resources. Actually, we're pre-recorded, but I always wanted to say that. I'm in transit right now from Canada en route to Fiji, so I apologize that I can't be with you live, but I'll try to join the Q&A, and you're in good hands with Rob Christo, our Investor Relations Manager and longtime shareholder. He'll be on hand right after this talk to answer any of your questions. All of our assets are in Fiji, and we cover the 4 commodities of zinc, copper, silver, and gold. We are in the middle of 2 exciting drill programs now for this season, and we have a lot to tell you about regarding that. And just to give a quick overview, I know a lot of you already know the story. Thunderstruck has nearly 3% of the main island of Fiji, and Fiji, I know a lot of people don't really know Fiji as a mining friendly country, but it actually has a lot of mines, everything from grassroots right through to production right on the island. I'll show you that in a second. So we are right here on the main island. Fiji has 332 islands, but there's a lot of mining on the largest one here, which also hosts the Nandi International Airport and the deepwater port of Suva, the capital. Our symbol is AWE. We currently have 84 million shares outstanding, and management insiders advisors own approximately 15%. We trade on the TSX Venture. So why Fiji? I co-founded this company a few years ago, 5-6 years ago, with Brian London, who runs this virtual New Orleans conference that you're attending as we speak virtually. And we went out and looked for really high grade, good commodities in a good jurisdiction. Now, we did not actually think of Fiji because we also didn't really know of Fiji as a mining country, but it turns out it really is. It has everything from grassroots right through to development and production. And because of that, we're very lucky that we can get a skilled workforce. Because they've been mining for actually over 80 years. These are some of the mines that are within close proximity, mines or properties within close proximity of Thunderstruck. And as I said, we have zinc, copper, gold, and silver, all high grade. See here in the center, across 2 special prospecting licenses. Very to the north is a Vatakula gold mine. It's still in production after 80 years. And over to the right, you can see Newcrest and Mitsubishi, Japanese, have a joint venture with a very, very large copper porphyry. And we also have a copper porphyry called Rama. So as you can see here, it's not too far distance. To the north, we have Nakoro, which is zinc copper volcanic massive sulfide, VMS. Also, Korokayiu to the bottom is a volcanic massive sulfide. And we're in a joint venture with that one. We're currently in the middle of the drill program on that, our 2nd year. I'll get into that later. And Liwa, that you see here in the green, is our very highly prospective and exciting gold silver asset, which we are in the works to drill for the very first time this season. Here we go. I'm going to start with Liwa because it's actually quite exciting. Shareholders have been waiting for this for a few years now. So Brian and I, when we wrapped up the assets, we purchased them 100% in 2016. We have been working since then to gather all of the data, put it into a proper database, and then do the necessary geophysical work, surface work, in order to make sure that all of these are drill ready. And they certainly are now. So Liwa Creek has never been drilled, but it had a bit of work done on it in the past. As you can see, it's very high grade, up to 55 grams per ton in an outcrop of gold in an outcrop. And we've done, since we picked them up, we've done an IP resistivity geophysical survey last year, which I'll show you here. No, it's after this. Here we go. As you see here, showed anomalous values right over the areas where we had also done some sampling. As you can see here, we delineated 4 potential drill targets. All 4 of these are quite exciting because we've done trenching, surface sampling, and ridge and spur, and the IP survey pretty much showed anomalous areas over the same high grade gold that we had done through sampling. So we're going to start with, we've currently built a road, we're nearly finished it, up to a camp that's close to here on the left hand side, this Liwa Ridge. I believe we're going to be starting our drill program there. The gold program that we're planning to do is going to be approximately 1,500 meters. So we will be trickling in assay results probably over the winter. Please stay tuned for that, and always email me or Rob, Crystal, with any questions in the future or updates, because sometimes press releases can be slower than we like, but we can update you also through social media. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Now, oh yeah, that's Liwa. So stay tuned for that. It's all good. We've got the drills in the country, and next up is Korokayiu. This is our only joint venture. All of the other three of the four assets that we own, they're all 100% owned except for Korokayiu, where we have very happily entered into a joint venture agreement with Geochemistry, which is the Japanese oil and gas metals corporation. Now, Korokayiu had been drilled in the past, and by Anglo back in the late 70s. And look at this, it came up with a small-ish resource, high-grade zinc, high-grade copper. They dropped it, walked away, and very little has been done on it since then, until we came along. So we gathered all the data. Again, it took a little bit of time, and then we spent about a year in negotiations with Geochemistry to get into this joint venture. And we have 1 year of drilling behind our belt. You can find the results from that drill program last year on our website at thunderstruck.ca, or you can always call Rob. So as you can see here, it looks like there's about a 15-kilometer strike length from historical. And what we're doing now, of course, is last year was a lot of confirmation drilling. Let me see if we have anything here. This is the deal that we did with Geochemistry. 3.5 million over 3 years. They spent 1.2 million last year. This year, they've actually just increased this budget that you see here. It says 1.3 million. We've just increased it to 1.65 million, so we can do a bit more work. And next year, they can spend more than 3.5 million to get their 70% if they so choose. After which point, we then enter into negotiations for a proper joint venture with a mining company, from Japan. That's sort of Geochemistry's mission statement is to explore, spend a little money. They're a government-owned organization, so they spend a bit of money, and then they source a mining company out of Japan in order to take it into production, in order to get the commodities that they need in Japan. So, this is what we did last year. This is great. That was a lot of confirmation drilling, and we actually came back with even higher grades than Anglo had. Very exciting stuff. You see, drill hole 17 was like 14% zinc, over 11 meters. It's wonderful, and 3% copper. With quite a bit of silver and gold in there as well. So this year's plan is mostly, we also did a gravity survey last year, a geophysical survey. And this year we're kind of testing, part of our drill program is to test over these gravity anomalies. Also, what is this? Oh, it's a drill section. Okay, so lots of data. This is all on our PowerPoint. Another look, drill hole 14 last year. Oh, sorry about the ambulance. Couldn't find a quieter place. And drill hole 14 came 14.5% zinc and 2.4% copper. So all good stuff. This was last year. This year we don't have any. I think we're on our third hole, and we don't have the assays back yet. But we're going to continue drilling over these gravity anomalies you see here. Plus, I believe we want to do a few step outs. Last year's drilling was concentrated over that Wainaleka area that you see there, which is where Anglo had done their drilling. I believe this year Jogmec and Thunderstruck want to expand and do some scouting and some step out holes just to start poking around and look for size. And obviously these things run in pods. Generally, VMS tends to run in pods, so they're just trying to find out where the other pods are. Another good news on Korokayiu, which I don't think, we don't have it in our press release, but in our PowerPoint, is that we have announced an agreement with Mitsui, which is Mitsui Engineering, which has over $108 billion in assets. It's a Japanese. Well, one of the things it does is mining, but it's easier if you just look it up. They're quite a force in Japan. And we met with them back in January, just before COVID. We met with them in Tokyo, with Jogmec, of course, taking us around to a variety of different mining companies who could potentially be our mining partners going forward after our third year of drilling next year. If we find what they're looking for and in a sizable state, then we will then enter into another agreement, possibly, most likely, with the mining company that has just come in. So we're very happy to have Mitsui come in as partners, and they will be, we are doing an IP survey of over 10 kilometers this season as well, in order to delineate the drill targets for next year. So they're absolutely heading up that IP program. The equipment arrived, I just heard yesterday, so it's being brought up to camp. I believe the 10 kilometers of lines have been cut, so it looks like that's all ready to go, raring to happen. This is our 2020 plan initially. It's a little bit outdated due to COVID. You can pretty much just take everything and push it forward a couple months, but we're still doing everything that's on there as far as I know. Process and test work, that's pretty nice. The good thing about Jogmec is that they do extra work above and beyond the joint venture agreement, the earn-in agreement, where they send their own crew in, and in this case here they want us to send a bulk sample to one of their labs in Tokyo to do some testing there. And none of this is we never built for this sort of thing. So in many respects, they're just such a great partner for wanting to make this happen, despite all of the challenges around COVID. So we got our driller in, we got our chief geologist in. Fiji has no COVID cases, so they're extremely strict, as they should be, in letting people in, which is why it's quite difficult for even me to get in, and I'll be there sort of indefinitely, probably until they can get a vaccine happening so that we can travel more easily back and forth. But we'll be going into quarantine for 14 days. The good thing about our team is that they, including Mindeko, is that they didn't mind going into quarantine in order to make this happen. And our driller has been out of quarantine now for like a couple months, I think. Same with our geologist. And I'll just be going into quarantine shortly. But I'm going to be very, very available if anybody wants to talk to me for 14 days. So anyway, we're going to do 1,500 meters is our goal on Korokayiu. Rama is our large copper porphyry. It also had been drilled by Anglo, but we haven't drilled it yet. However, it is ready to be drilled. We've done quite a bit of work on it, sampling, and did an IP survey as well last year. And we did some trenching, and we discovered here at the bottom, you see this Nakoro gold zone. That was something that we discovered last year that's it's not really high grade gold, but it's it's over quite a big area. And so we'd really like to actually drill that. And because we have 2 drills in the country now, I think that that's a possibility, probably not for this season, but certainly for next. And just to see what we have over there. We're open to joint venture opportunities on this property, just given how deep the drilling would have to be. All exciting stuff though. It's a great property. Let me think. I'm going to show you here. This just shows you where the drilling had been done, and you see the Senakura gold zone over to the bottom. I can't remember how long it is, what the distance is, but it's quite a large area. So we really need to get one of our drills over there. It's contiguous to Liwa, so it's possible that it's all part of one system. Our Liwa gold asset, that is. So we'll find out. Time is going to tell. Now, Rama. Oh yeah, this is the IP survey. As you can see, anomalies over the actual past drilling. This is past drilling because we still haven't drilled it. And Anglo came back with a really deep hole, 244 meters of 0.22% copper, low grade as you expect, and quite a bit of gold actually, 0.23 gold. So we just got to get in there and work it. Also, the work that we had done actually expanded the known size of the deposit as well. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Nakoro is our last asset, but certainly not our worst, or least favorite. It's also VMS, zinc copper. It's quite large, the other one that we're doing with Geochemistry. It's open pitable and very easy to get up to the road. This also has very high grade, as you see. It's 11.6% zinc, 0.64% copper, and it had larger tonnage on the historical resource with Anglo. However, it's a little bit more complex. Now, I'm not a geologist, but so they say. It's complex. There's a road that we've built actually that goes up to the ridge, but it would need more work and more money in order to see what's there. It is open at depth and along strike, and we are looking for partners on that one as well to take into production. To develop further. So this is our team. Our management team is myself, Bryce Bradley, and I'm the president and CEO. We have, I used to finance some mining companies and resource companies and some clean energy and oil and gas, so kind of the opposite, companies in the past. So I decided, to be able to use that network to start our own company and to take it public, finance it, find the assets, and sort of be involved right from the beginning to the end, so we know how our money is being spent. That's the one problem when you're a banker just taking a commission. You don't always know where they're spending it. It's over once you're done. You walk away. And as we all know, money is often misspent. So I think we're doing a good job. Wilson is our CFO. This is a big nod to the Fijians in general. We try to hire as many Fijians as possible, but it's a small country, so given their skilled workforce, we try to tap into as many as we can. Wilson was our chief financial officer. We're very excited to have him, and he's a Fijian national. Robert is the chief geologist, as mentioned to you, who is Canadian, but he lives in Australia. But now he kind of lives in Fiji because you can't really get out. Once you get in, you can't really get out very easily. You can't quarantine every single time you go home and then come back in. Too difficult. So he is valiantly settled on staying in Fiji until things turn around. The advantage is we're going to get a lot of work done because we're all stuck there, and so is our driller as well. Rob Christo, as I mentioned, is our investor relations manager. He's been investing in a lot of different mining companies, so I've known him in the mining and resource industry for many years, sharing our deals and companies that we liked and whatnot. So we're so happy to have him on board. He's been with us for a while. And Moape is our country manager. He's another Fijian national. He worked for Lion One for I think 15 years or so as their permitting manager. So we're happy to have him. And these are the directors. Brian London, who runs the New Orleans conference and writes Gold newsletter. Me again. Can't escape me, unfortunately. And Lawrence Ralston, very seasoned investor, newsletter writer, geologist. He's our technical director, as is Linnea von Hessert, also geologist, technical director. I've known her probably 25 years, 30 years. Our advisors are Tuki Angus, well known in the industry, securities lawyer. You can see all the deals that he's been involved with. Also runs K92, which is seriously taken off in Papua New Guinea. It's an amazing company. Chris Raffle is our technical consultant, so he runs Apex Geoscience, and he signs off on all of our press releases, technical press releases and whatnot. So this looks rather sparse, but it's more interesting than it looks. We've got our 2020 exploration program summary here. The Liwa Gold, as I mentioned, we've more or less finished the road. It's very close to happening, and we have the drill for it. camp, and we're hoping to get the drill in shortly. Maybe when I get over there, we'll see. And the Korokayiu Zinc Copper joint venture, we've already started that diamond drill program. I'm not sure how many holes we're going to put in, but I think we're on our third. We're also going to do this IP geophysical program, a quite extensive one of like 10 kilometers at least, and some mapping and sampling to get some more targets even for next year. So please stick around to ask any questions that you may have of Rob, and I really appreciate you taking your time to listen to this today. I really do. This is a wonderful entry point for any investor in Thunderstruck, as we're going to keep having results come in. And again, thank you very much.